Every love story
Previously on Lost Memories, Episode 1.
Begin with fireworks, others with coincidence. But the one between Mia and Paul began with a moment so small, so fragile, that neither of them knew it would someday shape the rest of their lives. It was a windy afternoon, the kind where fallen leaves danced across the schoolyard like little birds trying to take flight. Mia, the shy girl with soft eyes and quiet dreams, stood alone behind the playground shed. She wasn't crying loudly, just enough for anyone who cared to notice. And Paul noticed. Paul wasn't the strongest boy in school, nor the bravest. Mia, older, more beautiful, carrying the same charm she once gave away. And at that same moment, somewhere in the same school, Paul walked the same hallway, unaware that the girl he never stopped loving was standing just one door away.
Lost Memories, Episode 2. Whispers in the hallway. Some memories don't disappear. They don't fade the way people think they do. They only hide, waiting for the right moment to return. The morning bell rang through the school, sharp and familiar. But for Mia, everything felt strangely different. The hallway looked the same, the lockers lined up just as they always had, the chatter of students filling the air, but something beneath it all had shifted. As Mia walked forward, clutching her books to her chest, she felt it, that uneasy feeling, like eyes following her, like words being spoken just out of reach. At first, it was nothing clear, just fragments drifting through the air. Soft laughter, lowered voices, a name spoken too carefully. She told herself not to listen. She had learned long ago how to pretend she didn't hear things meant to hurt her. Still, every step felt heavier than the last.
We invite you to experience love beyond limits. Discover our new collection, exclusively here at Aka Movies.
Fingers tightened around her books as the whispers grew bolder. They followed her down the hallway. They say she's close to him. Did you hear about the helmet boy? Something about her doesn't feel right. Mia kept her head down, her long hair falling forward like a shield. She walked past classroom doors, past familiar faces that suddenly felt distant. The school that once felt safe now felt like a place filled with quiet judgment. And then, at the far end of the hallway, she saw him. Paul. He stood there as if he'd been waiting, his posture calm but alert, his eyes fixed on her with a quiet intensity. While everyone else seemed busy watching and whispering, Paul was only watching her. The way he always did, carefully, protectively, as though he was afraid she might disappear if he looked away. Mia didn't remember the boy from her childhood. She didn't remember the tears, the running feet, the goodbye she never knew she had given. But Paul remembered everything, every detail, every promise he never spoke out loud. Their eyes met, and for a brief moment, the noise of the hallway faded. The whispers softened, like they had been pushed into the background by something stronger. Paul walked toward her. He stopped in front of her, close enough that she could see the concern in his eyes. "Are you okay?" he asked softly. Mia hesitated before answering. She forced a small smile, the kind she used when she didn't want to explain herself. "I'm fine," she said. But Paul knew that smile. He had seen it before, years ago, when she had tried to be brave while her world was changing. It was the same smile she wore now, fragile, practiced, and hiding too much.
We invite you to experience love beyond limits. Discover our new collection, exclusively here at Aka Movies.
The whispers didn't stop that day. They spread, faster and sharper, carried by curiosity and jealousy. Rumors moved through the school like a quiet storm, growing stronger with every retelling. And somewhere between those rumors, a secret began to crack. Across the courtyard, Brian watched from a distance. His expression was unreadable, his posture perfect, but his mind was restless. Behind the calm surface, he showed the world was a secret no one was supposed to know, a life hidden behind a helmet, a name the public could never connect to his face. He had trusted that secret to one person, and now It felt exposed. Not far away, another pair of eyes followed Mia's every move. Eyes filled not with concern, but with resentment. A smile that looked friendly to others, but sharp beneath the surface. Jealousy rarely announces itself loudly. It works quietly, patiently, waiting for the right moment to act. By lunchtime, the atmosphere had changed completely. Phones buzzed non-stop. Screens lit up with messages and speculation. Students gathered in small groups, pretending not to stare while doing exactly that. Mia felt it, before she fully understood it. That sudden shift, when kindness turns into judgment and familiarity turns cold. Conversations stopped when she passed. Glances lingered longer than they should have. Her chest tightened.
We invite you to experience love beyond limits. Discover our new collection, exclusively here at Aka Movies.
She found Paul again, near the classroom door, his presence like a quiet anchor in the chaos. This time, she couldn't smile. "Why does it feel like everyone hates me today?" she asked, her voice barely steady. Paul didn't answer right away. He stepped closer instead, just enough to block the stairs behind her, just enough to remind her she wasn't standing alone. "Because people are afraid of what they don't understand," he said. Mia looked up at him, her eyes searching his face. "And what if they're right?" she asked softly. Paul shook his head, without hesitation. "They're not." There was something in his voice, firm, certain, that made her pause. For a moment, the fear loosened its grip on her chest. In its place was a feeling she couldn't quite name. Safety. She didn't know yet that the boy standing in front of her had already made a promise long before this day. A promise to protect her, even if she never remembered why. As the final bell rang and students began to leave, the whispers didn't fade. They only grew louder, feeding on curiosity and half-truths. Somewhere in the school, a lie was gaining strength, while the truth waited quietly, unseen. And deep beneath the noise, beneath the rumors and stares, something else stirred. A memory, a bond formed long ago, a love that had survived time, even if one heart had forgotten. Because not every stranger is unfamiliar, and not every smile is innocent. And as the hallway slowly emptied, one thing became clear. The past was no longer willing to stay silent. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to Aka Movies for more romantic Korean college love story.
We're rolling in 5. Remember your timing for the turn. And markers!
Do you remember the promise we made here?
I'm trying, Paul. It's just so hard.
Aka Movies present another Korean romantic love story, Destiny in Her Heart. Please subscribe, share, like, and comment. In Hanil City, a city where glass towers touched the clouds and dreams quietly battled fear, lived a young woman named Yoon So-ah. So-ah was in her early 20s, soft-spoken, hard-working, and filled with quiet determination. Every night, she sat by her small desk, adjusting her resume, organizing her certificates, and rehearsing how she would present herself if given a chance. Her dream was to work at Aurora Doll Industries, the largest doll baby manufacturing company in Korea. A company known across the world. A company so big that thousands of applicants competed for a single position. Sometimes, doubt crept into her heart. How could someone like me ever be chosen? But even with trembling hands, she refused to give up. On the morning applications were to be submitted, So-ah left home earlier than ever. Her documents were pressed tightly against her chest as she hurried through the quiet streets, afraid of arriving late, afraid of missing her only chance. Then, on a lonely stretch of road, she noticed a car stopped at the side. Inside was a woman in her late 50s, elegant yet distressed. Her expression showed worry, uncertainty, and exhaustion. Cars passed by. People ignored her, but So-ah stopped. Without hesitation, she approached, greeted the woman politely, and examined the engine. She added water to the carburetor, wiped her hands, and gently tried again. The engine came alive. Relief washed over the woman's face. Her smile was warm and sincere. "My name is Madam Kang Mi-suk," she said gratefully. She thanked So-ah repeatedly, touched by her kindness. So-ah only bowed politely and rushed away, unaware that this simple act would change her life forever. What she did not know was that Madam Kang Mi-suk was the mother of Kang Jun-hyuk, the CEO of Aurora Doll Industries. Later that day, Madam Kang arrived at the company and spoke endlessly about the young woman who helped her without expecting anything in return. "She is respectful, kind, responsible," she told her son. "She would make a wonderful wife if you make your move." Jun-hyuk smiled lightly, brushing it off, not knowing destiny had already crossed their paths. Back at Aurora Doll Industries, So-ah rushed through the entrance, clutching her documents, heart pounding. Then suddenly, she collided with someone. Papers flew across the floor. As she looked up, her breath stopped.
Are you hurt?
Standing before her was a young man, tall, composed, handsome, with calm eyes that carried quiet authority. "I'm sorry," they both said at the same time. They knelt to gather the papers, their fingers brushing briefly. For a moment, the world seemed to slow. "I'm Yoon So-ah," she said softly. "Kang Jun-hyuk," he replied. They shared a shy smile and exchanged contacts before parting ways. Neither of them knew the truth. She did not know he was the CEO. He did not know she was the woman his mother admired. Days turned into weeks. So-ah began working at Aurora Doll Industries. Even after discovering Jun-hyuk's true position, she never changed. She spoke respectfully, worked diligently, and never used his status for advantage. That sincerity touched Jun-hyuk deeply. Conversations became comfortable. Comfort became affection. And slowly, love crept in. At home, Madam Kang continued pressuring her son to marry the kind girl she met. But Jun-hyuk refused gently. "Mother, I've already found someone I love." She had no idea it was the same girl. One evening, Jun-hyuk brought So-ah to his humble family home. When the door opened, recognition filled the room. Shock, then smiles. They greeted each other warmly, laughter breaking the tension. Dinner was set. Stories were shared. In that moment, Madam Kang understood. This was not coincidence. This was fate. They welcomed So-ah with open hearts, grateful that their son had found a woman who loved him not for wealth or power, but for who he truly was. And in Hanul City, beneath soft lights and gentle laughter, love finally found its forever home. Thanks for watching. Please don't fail to turn on your notifications bell, like, comment, and share for others to watch. All on my YouTube channel at AKA Movies.
You feel lighter.
I guess I just try to see the good in moments.
You handled yourself very well earlier. It was impressive.
Oh, thank you. I was just trying to do my best. Seo-ah, I didn't realize how much you've come to mean to me
Until now.
Jun-hyuk, I feel the same. You handled today's chaos better than anyone I've seen. I'm impressed. Such a rare heart. Kindness like that is not taught. It is lived.
My name is Yoon Tae-yuan, and this is a story of how I found love. Not in the way most people dream of, not with flowers, chance meetings, or stolen glances, but through a screen, in the quiet hours of the night. She was just a stranger at first, a young woman who worked endlessly, cleaning offices where no one even remembered her name. Yet every night, she would type to me. She would tell me about her day, about the things that broke her, the little moments that made her laugh, and without knowing it, she began to heal me. What she didn't know was that I couldn't walk. Years ago, a car accident had taken that away from me. I was left in this chair, watching the world move on without me. People I trusted left. The woman I thought would stand by me forever walked away. And in that silence, I built walls around my heart. But then came her. Every night, her words reached me like light through cracks in a locked door. She made me laugh again, She made me forget that I was broken. To her, I wasn't a man in a wheelchair. I wasn't a failure or a burden.
Hi, Hyejin.
I was just me.
I hope your day was as
And for the
beautiful
first
as
time
you
in
are.
years, I felt alive. She doesn't know who I
Hi,
really am.
Hyejin.
The heir to a fortune, the man who once stood tall but now hides behind lies and silence. She doesn't know any of that. But
He understands
she listens. She cares. And maybe, just maybe, that's enough. If only she knew how much she already means to me.
Previously on Love Beyond the Wheelchair, Episode 1.
Years ago, a car accident had taken that away from me. I was left in this chair, watching the world move on without me. People I trusted left. The woman I thought would stand by me forever walked away. And in that silence, I built walls around my heart. But then came her. Every night, her words reached me like light through cracks in a locked door. She made me laugh again. She made me forget that I was broken. To her, I wasn't a man in a wheelchair. I wasn't a failure or a burden.
Hi, Hyejin.
I was just me.
I hope your day was as
And for the
beautiful
first
as
time
you
in
are.
years, I felt alive. The night that changed everything is a memory I can never escape. One moment, I was behind the wheel, the city lights stretching endlessly before me. The next, all I saw was broken glass, twisted metal, and the sound of my own heart pounding against the silence. When I opened my eyes again, I was no longer the man I used to be. The doctors tried, God knows they tried, surgery after surgery, endless tests, endless hope. But in the end, their words cut deeper than any wound. You may never walk again. I remember staring at the ceiling that night, realizing that the life I knew had ended on that road. She was there with me at first, my fiancée, the woman I thought I would spend forever with. She held my hand, she whispered promises, but I could see it in her eyes. The fear, the disappointment. And the day she walked away from me, heels clicking against the hospital floor, it felt like the last part of my soul broke. She didn't even look back. And then, as if fate wanted to remind me of everything I had lost, my sister stepped into the world I once belonged to. The company my father built my inheritance, my duties slipped quietly into her hands while I sat there in a chair that had become my prison. Ji-won was strong, capable, and the world applauded her. And me,
It's all gone.
I was just forgotten. Every night, I told myself I didn't need anyone. That love was just a word people use to make loneliness hurt less. Sitting there in the dark, I whispered to myself, love doesn't exist, not for me. And I believed it.
She left me.
Previously on Love Beyond the Wheelchair, Episode 2. Was there with me at first, my fiancée, the woman I thought I would spend forever with. She held my hand, she whispered promises, but I could see it in her eyes. The fear, the disappointment. And the day she walked away from me, heels clicking against the hospital floor, it felt like the last part of my soul broke. She didn't even look back. And then, as if fate wanted to remind me of everything I had lost, my sister stepped into the world I once belonged to. The company my father built my inheritance, my duties slipped quietly into her hands while I sat there in a chair that had become my prison. Ji-won was strong, capable, and the world applauded her. And me,
It's all gone.
I was just forgotten. Every night, I told myself I didn't need anyone. That love was just a word people use to make loneliness hurt less. Sitting there in the dark, I whispered to myself, love doesn't exist, not for me. And I believed it. For weeks, we had only been words on the screen, laughter typed into late-night messages, comfort sent through glowing text. But I wanted more. I wanted to see her, to know if the warmth I felt was real. So, with a nervous heart, I asked Sohejin if we could meet for the very first time.
Can I hike?
She agreed. The place was so forest, at a small cafe tucked away near the quiet trees. The night before, I couldn't sleep. I wondered, what if she turns away when she sees a wheelchair? What if she sees only what I've lost? That morning, I arrived early, Sitting quietly in my chair by the cafe window, I watched the world move freely around me, people walking without thought, and I braced myself for disappointment. Then she came. So Heijin with her soft, wavy brown hair gently brushing against her shoulders,
Where is
her
he?
warm, fair skin glowing in the afternoon light, her almond-shaped eyes searching the crowd nervously. She looked beautiful and fragile,
he?
as if the world had already asked too much from her. And then her eyes found me. For a heartbeat, the world fell silent. She froze, staring at the man in the wheelchair, the man who had been nothing but words on her phone.
Chair?
I saw the shock in her face, and in that instant, I wondered if my story would break once again.
Don't turn away.
Will she walk away, or will she stay? Aka Movies present Love Beyond the Wheelchair, episodes 4 to 7. I thought her eyes would change when she saw me in the wheelchair. I thought pity or discomfort would cloud them. But no, Sohijin's gaze stayed steady, like she had been waiting for this truth all along.
But you're
I laughed awkwardly, trying to push the silence away.
Maybe not.
I guess I'm not what you imagined,
Exactly who I
I
was
said,
hoping to meet.
my voice trembling. She smiled softly.
But you're exactly
Maybe
who I
not,
was hoping to meet.
but you're exactly who I was hoping to
Maybe
meet.
not.
Her
But you're
words cut
exactly
through
who I
me,
was hoping to meet.
deeper than any wound.
Maybe-
That night, I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. I had hidden my truth behind a screen, afraid she would run. Now she sat across from me, speaking as if the chair didn't exist. But how long could I keep this secret? After the surgery in India, my legs had begun to heal, slowly, painfully, but they were not gone forever. I looked down at my hands gripping the wheels. I could walk if I wanted to, but I couldn't tell her yet. I wanted to know, would she still love me if this chair was permanent? The next day, she found me in the park.
Let me.
She insisted on pushing my wheelchair
nice to
even
take
though
care of someone
I
who
protested.
matters.
Let me, she said, smiling like the sun, her hair blowing in the soft breeze. It feels nice to take care of someone who matters. Her words filled the empty places inside me. But they also carved guilt into my heart, because every day I stayed silent, the weight of my secret grew heavier. As the autumn leaves fell around us, I thought, if she finds out the truth, will she forgive me? I used to believe love ended the moment my fiancé walked away. She left without looking back, without a word of comfort. The day the doctor said I might never walk again, she chose her freedom over my broken body. I thought I had hardened since then. But sitting beside Haejin in the cafe, listening to her laughter over a simple cup of tea, I realized how much I still feared being abandoned. One evening, she noticed the scar along my leg as she helped adjust my blanket. Her fingers traced it gently. Does it hurt?
Does it hurt?
She asked softly. I froze. No one had touched me there in years. Not anymore.
Not anymore.
I lied, my throat tight.
hurt?
The truth, the scars were more than skin. They carried memories of metal, fire, and the screams. They carried the sound of my father's voice cracking as he told me my fiancé was gone.
Does it hurt?
Heijin tilted her head, her eyes searching mine. You don't have to hide your pain, she whispered. Not from me. Her words made me want to cry, but I bit down the tears. How could I tell her that I was hiding more than pain? That the chair she believed defined me was only half the truth? That night, when she left, I stood in my room. My legs shook, but they held me. I wanted to walk to her. I wanted to show her. But then I remember her smile, her kindness, and the fear gripped me again.
Tonight,
If she loved me only because she thought I couldn't walk, then what will happen when she learned I could? The past whispered in my ear. People always leave when they see the truth. She invited me to her home for the first time. A small, modest apartment filled with warmth, a vase of flowers on the window, books stacked on the table, the scent of fresh rice and soup. I sat in my wheelchair by the kitchen counter while she cooked. The clatter of pots and the rhythm of her movements filled the silence I once feared. When she brought the food over, she insisted on feeding me. I protested, embarrassed.
Because
I
you
can eat
deserve
by myself, Heijin, I said. She smiled gently, holding the spoon near my lips. Maybe,
Because you
but tonight, let me take care of you. I hesitated, then accepted. With each bite, my chest grew heavier. No one had cared for me like this in years. Her hands trembled a little, but her eyes never wavered.
Why are you so kind?
I looked at her and whispered, Heijin, please go. You deserve something better. Her expression tightened, but she didn't look away. What I deserve, she said firmly, is to be here with you. Those words shattered the walls I had built. She wasn't loving me despite the chair. She was loving me because she saw me, all of me broken, wounded, and still human. That night, as she washed the dishes, I watched her from the doorway of my silence. And for the first time, I began to wonder, maybe love hadn't abandoned me after all. Yet the more she cared, the more afraid I became. Each smile, each touch made me love her more, but also reminded me of the secret between us. One evening, as she pushed me through the park, a man passed by and whispered cruelly, "What a waste!" I froze, my fist tightening on the wheels. I wanted to stand, to prove him wrong, but I stayed seated, my pride burning. Heijin stopped and turned to the man, her voice steady but fierce. He's not a waste. He's worth more than you could ever understand. The man walked away, and I sat in stunned silence. No one had defended me like that since before the accident. I looked up at her. She smiled gently, brushing her hair behind her ear. Don't listen to people like that, she said softly. You are enough, Taehyung. But as her words settled in, doubt gnawed at me. Will she still believe I was enough if she knew I could stand? If she realized I had been hiding the truth?
Why me?
Her kindness was a light, but shadows always follow the light. And in my heart, doubt whispered louder than love. Thanks for watching till the end. Please encourage me to bring you another interesting Korean romantic love story by clicking on that notification button. Like, share, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel at Aka Movies.
Stay louder.
Previously on Love Beyond the Wheelchair. That night, the rain fell endlessly, like the sky was trying to wash away everything I'd been hiding. I sat in the cafe long after she left, staring at the reflection of my own face in the window. I could still feel the tremor in my hands when I told her part of my truth, that the wheelchair wasn't always part of my life, but I didn't tell her everything. I couldn't. Fear is a strange thing. It makes you lie to the very person who makes you want to be honest. The next morning, I woke to the sound of her footsteps. Hejin walked into my room quietly, carrying a tray of warm porridge. She smiled that same soft, patient smile that never asked questions I wasn't ready to answer. You should eat, she said. I looked away, pretending not to care, but my heart wasn't mine anymore. I asked her why she was still here, why she was so kind to someone like me. She said, kindness doesn't need a reason, Taehyung. It just needs truth. Her words hit me harder than any fall ever did. That afternoon, she cooked again spicy soup, the kind my mother used to make when I was a boy. She fed me gently, laughing when I coughed from the heat, and before I knew it, I smiled. Not the polite smile I gave to doctors or strangers, a real one. I whispered, Heijin, please go. You deserve something better. She stopped, tears glistening in her eyes. Don't push me away, she said softly. You're what I want. For a moment, I forgot the wheelchair, the pain, the lies, and just felt human again. But fate has a cruel sense of timing. That evening, I heard a voice I thought I'd never hear again. Michelle, my ex-fiancée, the woman who left me when the doctor said I might never walk. She walked in, rain dripping from her coat, eyes sharp as glass. So this is where you've been hiding, she said. Her words tore through me like lightning. I didn't speak. I couldn't. She pushed my wheelchair in anger, and I fell hard. Before I could react, Heijin was there, kneeling beside me, her hands shaking as she lifted me up. In that moment, as she held me, I realized something. Love doesn't pity. Love protects. Love stays. Later that night, as the rain softened, I lay in bed, Heijin's hand still in mine. I told her she should have left when Minso did. She smiled that same quiet, fearless smile and said, I stayed because I saw your soul, not your scars. Her words broke me completely and then built me again. For the first time, I believed that maybe, just maybe, I could be loved not because of what I had or what I lost, but because of who I was. That's when I decided. The lies, the disguise, the wheelchair, it had to end. I didn't want her to love a broken version of me. I wanted her to love me, all of me. And so, I stood. For the first time in years, I stood on my own feet. My legs trembled, but my heart was steady. When she turned and saw me standing beside the wheelchair, her eyes widened, filling with tears. She didn't speak. She didn't need to. In that silence, I knew she had always seen the man beneath the pain. That was the night I stopped pretending and started living. When she saw me standing, the world seemed to stop. Her lips parted, eyes wide, trembling, as if she'd just witnessed a ghost. I remember her whispering, "Taehyung, you can walk?" I wanted to speak, to explain, but words froze in my throat. All I could manage was a quiet nod. Her tears fell faster than the rain outside. And in that moment, I realized the truth I had feared so much had hurt her more than any lie ever could. We stood in silence for a long time. The wheelchair between us felt heavier than ever, not as a chair, but as everything I'd kept hidden. When I tried to move closer, she stepped back. "Why did you hide this from me?" she asked, her voice trembling. I swallowed hard. Because I was afraid that once you knew I wasn't broken anymore, you'd leave. She shook her head slowly, heartbreak clouding her eyes. "You didn't have to be perfect for me to love you." Then she turned and walked away, and the sound of the door closing behind her felt louder than thunder. For days, the house was silent again. The air was cold, the nights longer. I sat staring at the empty chair, the one I no longer needed but couldn't bring myself to move. I wanted to chase after her, but guilt chained my feet stronger than any paralysis ever did. One evening, my sister So Yun visited. She was always the strong one, calm, confident, the one who had taken over father's company when I couldn't. She stood in the doorway, arms crossed, her tone firm yet kind. "You lied because you were scared," she said. "But if she loved you even when you couldn't walk, then you owe her the truth, not silence." Her words lingered long after she left. That night, I drove to the riverside, the same place I used to go before the accident. The water shimmered beneath the city lights, and I remember every moment that led me here. I pulled out my phone and typed a message to Heijin, but my hands hesitated. I deleted it again. How do you say sorry for breaking the heart of the only person who healed yours? Then, just as I looked up, I saw her, saw Heijin, standing under the bridge, holding an umbrella, her hair wet from the drizzle. My breath caught. She turned and saw me too, and for a moment, neither of us moved. I walked toward her slowly, every step heavy with the weight of unspoken words. "Heijin," I whispered, my voice cracking. I was scared. I didn't want to lose you. She looked up at me, tears glistening on her cheeks. "You already did," she said softly. The silence that followed was painful, but necessary. I reached out my hand. She hesitated, then took it trembling. "Let's start over," I said. "This time with no lies." She nodded slowly, and under that pale city light, I pulled her into my arms. The world melted away, leaving just us broken, healed, and real. From that night, everything changed. I no longer hid who I was. I walked beside her, not behind or ahead. She laughed more, I smiled more, and for the first time, the sound of the wheelchair in the corner didn't haunt me anymore. It reminded me of where I had been and who stood by me when no one else did. Months later, as spring came to Seoul, I took her to the rooftop garden I had built with my own hands. Flowers surrounded us, the air filled with the scent of fresh blossoms. I knelt down, took her hand, and said, "You once told me love doesn't need perfection. You were right. It just needs truth." She cried before I could even finish, and when I placed the ring on her finger, she whispered, "You are my truth, Taehyung." That was the moment I knew the man who once sat alone in a wheelchair, afraid to live, had finally found not just love, but life itself. So if you ever find someone who sees you for who you are, even when the world doesn't hold them close. Because sometimes love doesn't fix what's broken. It simply teaches you how to live with it beautifully. And that is how I found love beyond the wheelchair.
Your mother must have cooked with love. I'm taking back the company, Soyeon.
Then do it your way, Gui, not father's way.
AKA Movies brings you another interesting Korean romantic love story titled Love Beyond the Wheelchair, episode 12 to 15. I realized something frightening standing up hadn't made me brave. It only exposed how much fear I still carried inside. The night she walked away replayed endlessly in my mind. Her footsteps fading, the door closing, the silence that followed louder than the rain outside. I stood alone in the room, my legs trembling, my heart heavier than it had ever been when I couldn't walk at all. I thought the wheelchair was what made me weak. I was wrong. Fear was, I avoided that room for days. The wheelchair remained there, untouched, like a quiet reminder of everything I had hidden. I could walk now, but I didn't feel free. Every step outside felt hollow. People looked at me and saw a man moving forward, but inside, I was stuck in that moment, her eyes filled with betrayal, confusion, pain I had caused with my silence. I told myself I hid the truth to protect her. Now I knew the truth. I hid it to protect myself. I started remembering the early days, the way she spoke to me without pity, the way she treated me like a man, not a condition. She never stayed because she thought I was broken. She stayed because she saw something worth loving, and I repaid that love with deception. The realization crushed me. Love wasn't something fragile I needed to shield her from. It was something strong enough to survive the truth if only I had trusted it. When my sister visited, she didn't look at me with sympathy. She looked at me with disappointment mixed with understanding. She told me something I wasn't ready to hear, that honesty delayed becomes dishonesty, no matter the intention. She said love doesn't need perfection, but it does demand courage. That night, her words stayed with me as I stared at the ceiling, listening to the hum of the city outside, wondering how I had been brave enough to relearn walking, but too afraid to relearn honesty. I went back to places that carried our memories, the cafe where we shared quiet smiles, the streets we walked together, the river where city lights danced like fragile hopes on the water. Every place felt incomplete without her presence. I practiced apologies in my head, but none of them felt enough. How do you apologize for making someone doubt whether your love was real? Then I saw her again, standing under the pale city lights, holding herself the way people do when they're trying not to fall apart. My chest tightened. I wanted to run to her, but I forced myself to walk slowly, not to prove I could walk, but to prove I could face her. When I spoke, my voice shook. I didn't explain my recovery first. I explained my fear. I told her how the accident broke more than my body, how being left once made me terrified of being left again, how I thought hiding my strength would keep her close. She listened, but silence filled the space between us. When she asked why I lied, I told her the ugliest truth, that I was afraid she would stop choosing me once she knew I wasn't helpless anymore. Saying it out loud made me realize how little faith I had placed in her love. Her pain was quiet, deeper than anger. When she stepped away again, it hurt worse than the first time, because this time, I understood why. I learned what it meant to sit with consequences. I didn't chase her. I didn't beg. I gave her the space I had denied her before. I spent long nights confronting my own reflection, learning that recovery doesn't end when your legs heal. It ends when your heart stops hiding. I stopped pushing the wheelchair into corners. I let it stay where it belonged, not as a symbol of weakness, but as proof of survival. Slowly, conversations returned, careful, honest. We talked about pain, about trust, about how love changes when truth is delayed. I listened more than I spoke. I let her anger exist without trying to erase it. And in that patience, something shifted. Love didn't rush back. It rebuilt itself quietly. I finally understood it was never about who stood or who sat. It was about who stayed emotionally present. When she reached for my hand again, it wasn't because I could walk. It was because I finally stood still long enough to be honest. I stopped performing strength. I stopped pretending to be unbreakable. I let myself be fully seen scars, fear, guilt, hope, all of it. I realized how much we had both grown. I brought her to a place that symbolized rebuilding a space filled with light, quiet air, and new beginnings. I told her that losing her almost cost me myself, and finding honesty gave me more strength than walking ever did. I didn't promise her a future without pain. I promised her a future without lies. When she chose me again, it wasn't dramatic. It was soft, real, and that was enough. Standing there, holding her hand, I understood something I wish I had known earlier. The wheelchair was never the enemy. Fear was. And love didn't remove my scars. It taught me how to live with them openly, without shame. That was how my story reached its end. Not with applause, not with miracles, but with truth, patience, and a love strong enough to exist beyond the wheelchair. Thanks for watching till the end. Share, like, comment, and turn up that notification bell to subscribe to my YouTube channel at AKA Movies.
You don't have to tell me everything tonight.
But if I don't,
I'm afraid I'll never find the courage.
AKA Movies present The Billionaire's Heart. In the shining heart of Seoul, where city lights glitter like fallen stars, a young billionaire's son named Han Jae-min lived quietly with a secret gift, the power to heal with just a touch. But his gift did not bring admiration. Instead, it turned the hearts of his three younger brothers against him. Ji-hoon, sharp-tongued and jealous, Do-jin, quiet but resentful, and Min-jae, reckless and easily influenced. Believing Jae-min would inherit everything, they betrayed him, unknowingly selling him into the hands of strangers who later traded him again, this time to one of Korea's most powerful men, Governor Seo Dong-hyun. Weakened by an unknown illness, the governor needed help that medical science could not offer. When Jae-min laid his hand gently on the governor's chest, a warm light spread beneath his skin, and the man breathed again. From that moment, Jae-min became the governor's most trusted servant. He wore simple gray uniforms, moved with humility, and never revealed who he truly was. Yet someone in the house watched him more closely than the others. So Eun-na, the governor's graceful daughter, saw the kindness in him, the gentleness in his eyes, the way he helped the staff and cared deeply for those around him. Something about the quiet servant drew her heart in a way she couldn't explain. He tried to keep his feelings hidden, but she could see through the silence. They decided to move slowly, to understand if their feelings were real or born from gratitude and closeness. And then, one stormy evening, everything changed. The governor's top aide rushed into the office in panic. His father's company was about to collapse. The bank demanded a collateral of $1.2 million before releasing funds for a massive business deal. Without it, the company would be gone in days. The governor sent Jae-min to accompany him to observe the situation. Inside one of Gangnam's tallest skyscrapers, filled with executives in sleek Korean suits and the smell of fresh luxury, Jae-min froze when he saw the CEO. Sitting in the grand leather chair, commanding the entire room, was himself Han Jae-min, the brother they had sold years ago, now the leader of one of Korea's richest companies. His presence was powerful, calm, and untouchable. The aide trembled when he realized who Jae-min truly was. Soon, his three brothers arrived, overwhelmed and ashamed. The truth poured out years of jealousy, hatred, and insecurity. They confessed how they feared losing everything to him, how they resented the love their father gave him. Jae-min listened quietly, his heart breaking but calm. "I don't need the empire," he whispered. "I only ever needed my family." He signed the deal without hesitation, saving the company from destruction. He asked for nothing, no shares, no public recognition, no repayment. He simply walked away. But when he returned home, news hit like a thunderbolt. His father had collapsed. The family gathered around the hospital bed, shaking with fear as machines beeped in panic. Jae-min slowly stepped forward, removed his suit jacket, placed his warm palm on his father's chest, and let his gift flow. Light spread softly beneath his hand. The old man's breathing returned, and his eyes opened. "My son," he whispered, tears forming. "You came back." The entire family cried brothers who had betrayed him, a father who thought he was dead, a home that had been shattered, now silently healing itself. But even after being begged to reclaim his position and take leadership of the Han Empire, Jae-min refused. He gave his inheritance and authority to his younger brothers, leaving them with a chance to grow and become better men. His home was no longer the mansion he grew up in. His home was now with So Eun-na, the woman who loved him when he had nothing, who saw his heart before she knew his past, who chose him even when the world saw him as just a servant. Their wedding was held on a rooftop overlooking the Seoul skyline. Jae-min stood in a perfectly tailored black Korean suit, and Eun-na shone in a modern white bridal gown that sparkled under the night lights. They promised each other a life built not on wealth or power, but on sincerity, trust, and love that grew from the simplest place, the heart. And from that day forward, Jae-min lived quietly as a philanthropist, helping people in secret, healing those who needed him, and cherishing the woman who became his peace. His brothers visited often, grateful and changed by his forgiveness. The family was whole again. In the end, the boy they tried to bury became the man who saved them, not through control, not through revenge, but through love, mercy, and a heart that refused to stop believing in family. And beside him always was the woman who saw his light even when he stood in the shadows. Please turn on the notification bell, like, share, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel at AKA Movies.
You're always sitting alone at night.
Night is peaceful. It's the only time my thoughts don't feel loud.
Han Jae-min?
Minja-si, I brought your favorite.
Thank you, Soraya. I never thought I'd feel this peace again.
Repentance isn't enough. Action is what saves lives. Today, we act.
Hyung, thank you for saving us, for saving him.
Minja-si, you've done so much today. How do you feel?
Relieved, but the work isn't over. My father still needs me.
So you were the one they spoke of?
I don't understand. I was taken, it's my will.
Who requested for me?
Aka Movies present another interesting
This is so
Korean
cute.
romantic college story titled Lost Memory. Episode 1, Familiar Face. Every love story begins somewhere. Some begin with fireworks, others with coincidence. But the one between Mia and Paul began with a moment so small, so fragile, that neither of them knew it would someday shape the rest of their lives. It was a windy afternoon, the kind where fallen leaves danced across the schoolyard like little birds trying to take flight. Mia, the shy girl with soft eyes and quiet dreams, stood alone behind the playground shed. She wasn't crying loudly, just enough for anyone who cared to notice. And Paul noticed. Paul wasn't the strongest boy in school, nor the bravest. His uniform was always a little wrinkled, and he tripped over his own shoelaces more often than he'd admit. But that day, something inside him refused to let him walk past. He stepped between Mia and the bullies, his voice cracking with fear, yet somehow filled with courage. "Don't touch her," he said. Not loud, not threatening, but true. The bullies laughed. Of course they always laughed, but something in Paul's eyes made them leave. And when silence finally settled around them, Mia looked up and saw the boy who had chosen to stand in front of her instead of behind. She smiled. He blushed, and neither of them understood why that moment felt different. From that day, they became inseparable. Two little shadows walking next to each other. Two small hearts beating just a little bit faster whenever the other was near. They shared snacks during break, sat next to each other in class, and found their own secret spot under the old mango tree behind the school. It became their world, a world too small for adults to notice, but big enough to hold a million tiny memories. Paul would say, "When we grow up, let's stay together." And Mia would answer, "Forever." Neither of them understood forever, but they believed in it. But forever sometimes ends quicker than expected. One ordinary evening that didn't feel ordinary at all, Mia's mother came home with urgency written all over her face. The kind of urgency that steals time away from you. She packed bags, made phone calls, and told Mia the words no child wants to hear. We need to move tonight. Mia froze. Move? Leave? Leave Paul? She tried to argue, but what argument can a child make against the weight of adult problems? She ran outside, heart pounding, searching for Paul as if losing sight of him meant losing a part of herself. She found him near the school gate at sunset, the sky glowing red as if trying to hold on to them a little longer. Mia, why are you crying? Paul asked, even though the answer was already visible in her eyes. We're leaving, she whispered. My mum says we have to go, far away. The world grew quiet, too quiet. Like everything around them paused to watch the moment unfold, Paul's voice trembled. For how long? Mia shook her head. I don't know, maybe a long, long time. And then she remembered something she had kept hidden for weeks, a small charm wrapped neatly in a piece of cloth. It was supposed to be Paul's birthday gift, but birthdays suddenly didn't matter anymore. She pressed it into his palm gently. This is for you,
Thank you, Brian.
so you won't forget me.
Hey,
Paul slowly opened
okay?
it. A small keepsake, simple but special because it came from her. He wanted to speak, to promise he would find her no matter where she went, but his voice was stuck somewhere behind his tears. Mia pulled out another matching charm from her pocket. We both keep one, and someday we'll meet again. These will lead us back to each other. The car horn sounded. Her mother called her name. Reality pushed its way into their fragile dream. Mia stepped back, wiping tears that refused to stop. Don't forget me, Paul. He shook his head desperately. Never. But as she turned away and ran toward the waiting car, something inside Paul broke loose. He chased after her, feet pounding on the pavement, voice breaking under the weight of heartbreak. Mia! Don't go. Don't forget me. The car pulled away. Mia pressed her face against the window, crying as her home shrank into nothing more than a blur. She lifted her charm to her chest. Paul stood alone on the road, clutching his half-breath freezing in the cold evening air. That night, a boy learned what it meant to lose someone, and a girl learned what it meant to carry memory as her only comfort. But time moves forward, even when hearts don't. Seasons changed. Years passed. Children turned into teenagers. Paul grew taller, quieter, and stronger, but he never stopped wearing the charm around his neck. Every day he woke up, he hoped that destiny would return what time had stolen. And Mia, somewhere far away, held her charm too, like an echo of a story left unfinished. Then came a morning no different from any other. A morning where students rushed to class, bells rang, and life unfolded as usual until a girl with soft eyes and long hair walked through the school gates. Mia, older, more beautiful, carrying the same charm she once gave away. And at that same moment, somewhere in the same school, Paul walked the same hallway, unaware that the girl he never stopped loving was standing just one door away. Thanks for watching till the end. Please turn on your notifications bell to be the first to receive our latest Korean romantic love story.
Good. The one who cried when you left.
Paul, you?
I never stopped loving you.
Brian, wait. I can explain. Why?
So you destroyed her. Her peace.
I didn't mean for it to go this far. Mia, are you dating Mr. B?
Mia, why did you tell them?
I didn't. Brian, I promise.
I trusted you.
Brian, please.
This story is proudly brought to you by Aka Movie. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel at Aka Movie for more updates.
Another Aka Movie story. In the heart of a bustling Korean town, there lived a beautiful yet impoverished girl named Mi-do. Her life was simple, working in her family's modest bookstore, until one fateful day, when debt collectors stormed in, demanding payment for her father's loans. They slapped her, pushed her into the street, making her a spectacle for all to see. But amid the chaos, a kind-hearted man named Tae-sang, a manager for the loan shark, watched in silence. Her bravery reminded him of his own tragic past, so he handed her his business card. Desperate, with interest skyrocketing, Mi-do's father contemplated ending it all. To save him, Mi-do offered herself to Tae-sang, agreeing to spend the night. But Tae-sang, touched by her innocence, couldn't go through with it. "Go home," he said gently, erasing the interest and even giving her expensive food. His kindness didn't end there. The next day, his men delivered a bank book for her college tuition. Mi-do refused at first, suspecting ulterior motives, but Tae-sang insisted, promising monthly support if she studied hard. Tae-sang was weary of his gangster life, yearning to leave it behind. When his boss discovered his betrayal, a brutal fight ensued during a camping trip. The boss kidnapped Mi-do as leverage, forcing Tae-sang to sign a contract. In the rescue, Tae-sang was gravely injured, but his loyal subordinate Chong-hee saved him. Mi-do escaped, and Tae-sang survived. 7 years passed. Tae-sang built Golden Tree, a legitimate lending company helping the lower middle class with fair loans. Chong-hee had taken the fall for killing the boss, serving time to protect Tae-sang. In return, Tae-sang funded Chong-hee's brother, Jae-hee's education abroad, making him a trusted employee. Mi-do, however, hadn't touched Tae-sang's money, preserving her pride. She worked as a waitress, auditioning for news anchor roles, while paying her father's hospital bills. Envious of her optimistic brother Mi-jun, she infiltrated a party to uncover stories about stock manipulating conglomerates. There, a rich daughter insulted her, leading to revenge at the restaurant. As Mi-do was forced to kneel, Tae-sang intervened, paying the bill and pulling her away. Disappointed she hadn't used his aid for education, Tae-sang offered her a job at Golden Tree. Their reunion sparked feelings. Tae-sang proposed marriage, but Mi-do rejected, wanting to know him better. As they grew closer, she learned of his orphaned past and generous nature. On a business trip, Mi-do enjoyed herself, but a call answered by Song-ju, Tae-sang's unrequited admirer, sparked jealousy. Mi-do met Jae-hee abroad, bonding over shared poverty roots. They spent time together, rekindling old memories from a free rice line 7 years ago. Jae-hee fell for her, but Mi-do returned to Korea, choosing dinner with Tae-sang. Misunderstandings arose, seeing Tae-sang with Song-ju, but he clarified his feelings for Mi-do. Jae-hee followed to Korea, joining Golden Tree to pursue Mi-do. Tae-sang visited her home, confessing his love and asking permission to date her. Her father opposed due to age and past trauma, but her mother supported. Mi-do, thinking realistically about escaping poverty, accepted. Conflicts escalated. Yonggap, a rival, provoked fights, leading to brawls at the office. Mi-do was slapped, enraging Tae-sang. Jae-hee was introduced as director, shocked to see Mi-do. Their secret past complicated things. Song-ju's jealousy grew. She hoped for Tae-sang, but he chose Mi-do, giving her rings. Investors pulled out due to fight videos. Tae-sang apologized to employees. Birth secrets emerged. Tae-sang's mother ran a soup shop, regretting abandoning him. Uncle Baeksul exploited this for money. Tae-sang and Mi-do bonded over outings, but doubts crept in. Mi-do discovered her dream of becoming an art director, encouraged by Jae-hee. Love triangle intensified. Jae-hee confessed, kissed Mi-do. Tae-sang overheard hints. Misunderstandings piled. Rings, shoes, dinners. Tae-sang proposed marriage. Mi-do hesitated, wanting to pursue dreams. Yonggap's schemes worsened. Song-ju stole investors. Mi-do got a London job offer, but Tae-sang begged her to stay. Heartbroken, she ended it to chase dreams. Tae-sang, devastated, learned of his mother's whereabouts via Chung-hee. Mi-do's accident. Chung-hee hit her in a hit-and-run to fix things for Tae-sang. She awoke with amnesia and paralysis, forgetting Jae-hee. Tae-sang cared for her. Jae-hee suspected foul play. Song-ju revealed Tae-sang's brother, Taemin Roy-jang, was alive, adopted in Hong Kong. Chung-hee kidnapped Mi-do briefly, but Tae-sang rescued her. Mi-do's memory returned secretly. She faked it to protect. Fights. Dong-gu embezzled, fought Chung-hee, causing his coma. Birth secrets. Jae-hee was Mr. Jim Young's son, not Chung-hee's brother. Tae-sang forgave his mother. Tae-sang married Song-ju amid murder suspicions. Song-jun's death, but Song-ju cancelled for his sake. 2 years later, Mi-do returned. They reunited at the bookstore Tae-sang opened in his old building, starting anew.
Together.
Aka Movies present another interesting Korean romantic love story, titled Whisper of Forever. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe for more K-movies.
Jin-woo-an looked like a calm young man in his early 30s, but behind those quiet eyes lived the weight of 1,000 years. He had walked through kingdoms and watched civilizations rise and fall. Yet in this lifetime, he carried only one final vow, one promise that bound him tighter than any destiny. It began beside the bed of his oldest disciple. The man, now in his late 70s, lay weak and fading, his breath shallow, his hand trembling in Jin-woo's grasp. He stared at Jin-woo with the last flicker of life in his eyes. "Master Jin-woo," he whispered, voice cracking, "I have one dying wish." Jin-woo bowed his head. "Speak, old friend. Marry my granddaughter, protect her, protect my family, stay with her for 3 years. After those 3 years, you are free to walk away." Tears gathered in the dying man's eyes. "That is the only thing I ask." A 1,000-year immortal who had kept promises to kings and emperors lowered his head in respect. "I give you my word." And so, Jin-woo entered the powerful Kang household, not as the immortal guardian he truly was, but as a humble man agreeing to an arranged marriage with a woman who did not want him. Her name was Min Seo Kang, late 20s, intelligent, beautiful, proud, and deeply in love with another man who had left for the US. To her, Jin-woo-an was an intruder in her life, a stranger forced on her by a dying grandfather she adored. Her father, stern and commanding in his late 50s, judged Jin-woo the moment he saw him. Her mother, elegant and calculating in her early 50s, looked at him as if he was beneath their status. And Min Seo barely hid her resentment. From the first day of the marriage, Jin-woo became a silent servant in their home. He cooked meals, he cleaned rooms, he carried groceries, he prepared tea Min Seo never thanked him for. He accepted each insult from her father with a respectful bow. He endured every cold remark from her mother with a patient smile. He bore Min Seo's indifference without complaint, not because he was weak, but because the dying wish of his disciple commanded him to stay for 3 years. 3 years of endurance, 3 years of protection, 3 years of silent loyalty, and Jin-woo fulfilled every second of that vow. When the Kang company nearly collapsed, unknown investors saved them. When competitors tried to destroy them, hidden allies intervened. Every disaster was blocked before it touched them. Minseo never once questioned why. Her parents assumed it was luck, power, reputation. None of them knew the truth. Each miracle was Jinwoo's doing. Each protection was his invisible hand. Each success was his quiet sacrifice. He shielded them while they mocked him. He saved them while they ignored him. He fulfilled his vow while they treated him as almost nothing. But Jinwoo said nothing. Not even when Minseo's former lover returned from America. The charming, wealthy, confident man ran straight into her arms, confessing that he still loved her. Minseo's heart fluttered. Because despite her anger, despite her pride, she felt something for Jinwoo. Sapotically formers in the Seine, she felt something for Jinwoo. Something she didn't understand. Something she refused to admit. She saw it when Jinwoo placed food gently on the table. She saw it when he shielded her from broken glass with his own bleeding body. She saw it when he watched her from the doorway with lonely eyes. But she forced herself to deny it. And when the final day of the 3 years arrived, Jinwoo bowed his head and walked away, just as the dying wish demanded. No argument, no hesitation, no explanation. Minseo signed the divorce papers with trembling hands. Her father laughed in relief. Her mother sighed in victory. Her ex-lover embraced her, believing everything was finally in place. But the moment Jinwoo stepped out of their lives, everything collapsed. Contracts disappeared. Investors vanished. Clients withdrew. Every door that once opened slammed shut. The Kang Empire crumbled like a sandcastle in the tide. Minseo lay awake at night, staring at the empty side of her bed. She missed the quiet footsteps in the hallway. She missed the meals she never appreciated. She missed the man who protected her without asking anything in return. She remembered his wounds, his silence, his sadness. Regret burned deeper each day, until the truth reached her like thunder. A board member whispered the revelation that shattered her entire world. Do you not know who Jinwoo An truly is? He is the unseen commander of Vastverse Corporation, the multi-billion empire that controls half the Korean financial system. Her father froze. Her mother nearly fainted. Minseo felt her soul collapse. The man she ignored, the man she insulted, the man she divorced, the man her grandfather trusted with his dying breath, was the most powerful corporate force in the country. A king hiding in their kitchen, a titan disguised as a servant, an immortal keeping a promise she never understood. He had saved her family, saved her company, and walked away without asking for anything. Minseo broke into tears. She ran out of the office,
I did it for your safety.
rushing through traffic, chasing the man she cast aside. She found him standing beneath the evening lights, calm as if the world around them had finally caught up with the truth. Jinwoo! She cried, voice trembling. I'm sorry. Her tears fell like rain. I never knew. I never understood. I was arrogant. I was blind. I was cruel. Jinwoo looked at her with the quiet patience of a man who had lived 1,000 years. Minseo, your heart was hurting. I do not blame you. She stepped closer, shaking. I regret everything. I regret divorcing you. I regret hurting you. I regret not seeing the truth. Please, forgive me. Forgive me. Then, with a trembling breath, and please, don't walk away again. Not now that I finally see who you are. The world softened around them. The wind quieted. The night listened. Her tears glistened under the streetlights. I love you, she whispered. I always did. I was just too afraid to face it. I love you. Jinwoo's expression finally softened, not as an immortal, not as a billionaire commander, but as the man who once waited for her heart. For the first time, he reached for her hand, not because of a dying wish, not because of a promise, but because he finally wanted to. And under the soft glow of the night, their story began again, this time
Tell me to stop.
by choice, not obligation.
I was wrong. I didn't understand everything you were doing.
I did it for your safety and your happiness.
In the wide open plains of Kansas, where the sun rose over golden fields and the wind carried the sound of livestock, lived a man named Thomas Green. Thomas was no ordinary farmer. He owned hundreds of cows, pigs, and fowl, spread across a field so vast it seemed to touch the horizon. His farm was his pride, his sweat, and his bread. But behind his weathered face and callous hands was a heart marked by grief. Years ago, Thomas had lost his beloved wife, Mary, leaving him alone to raise their only child, a daughter named Emily. Emily was his joy. Every night after a long day in the fields, Thomas would sit on the porch with her, telling stories about her mother and reminding her that love and kindness were the greatest riches a person could own. But as the years went by, loneliness drove Thomas to remarry. The new wife, Clara, was beautiful on the outside but sharp as thorns within. She treated Emily like a servant, barking orders, forcing her into chores, and scolding her whenever Thomas' back was turned. While Thomas labored 5 miles away at his livestock fields, Emily endured the weight of cruelty in silence. Life shifted one spring when Thomas struck a deal with Harrison Foods, the largest eatery company in America. They wanted enormous numbers of pigs and fowl for their restaurants. It was a once-in-a-lifetime contract, and Thomas needed help to keep up. One morning, while passing through town, Thomas noticed a boy no older than 20 begging near a diner. His clothes were ragged, his shoes worn to the sole, but his eyes held dignity. "Sir, not for me," the boy said softly, "but for my mother who hasn't eaten today." Something about the honesty in his voice touched Thomas. He asked the boy's name. "Michael?" Thomas took him in. Michael worked with unmatched sincerity. He rose before dawn, cleaned the stables, fed the animals, and ran errands without complaint. Every Saturday, he collected his pay and hurried to his poor mother, who lived in a rundown house by the edge of town. Unknown to anyone, Michael's mother was hiding a secret. Years ago, she had worked as a cleaner for Harrison Foods. The company's owner, Richard Harrison, had fallen in love with her briefly, but his first wife, jealous and childless at the time, had driven her away. Pregnant and afraid, she vanished, vowing never to return. She told Michael his father had died long ago. On the farm, Emily watched Michael closely. She admired his diligence, his kindness, the way he spoke respectfully even when exhausted. A quiet feeling began to grow in her, though she dared not voice it. Michael, too focused on providing for his mother, barely noticed the admiration in her eyes. Months passed, and one day, Richard Harrison himself arrived at Thomas's farm in his private jet to inspect the livestock. Thomas trembled with pride as he welcomed the billionaire. Michael, though nervous, served him water, helped him tour the field, and bowed with humility. Richard saw something rare in the boy, a grace and sincerity that money could not buy. When the tycoon left, he accidentally forgot his golden wristwatch worth millions. Michael discovered it and ran to Thomas. Together, they contacted the company secretary to return it. Richard was so impressed by the honesty that he returned the very next day by helicopter, eager to meet the boy's parents. "Such a son must come from extraordinary people," Richard said. He invited Thomas and Michael into his helicopter and asked Michael to lead him home. When they landed at the small, tattered house, Richard stepped out and froze. There stood the woman he had searched for decades ago, the woman who had disappeared carrying his child. His breath caught, his hands shook. "Margaret," he whispered. The woman gasped, nearly dropping the bowl she held, and Michael, stunned, looked between the two of them. The truth poured out. Richard was not dead. He was his father. The heir to Harrison Foods had been living as a beggar son all along. Tears flowed freely as father and son embraced. Richard lifted Michael into his new life, bringing him under the guidance of the company's top professionals. Margaret's poverty ended overnight. For the first time in years, she felt peace. But Michael never forgot the man who gave him a chance when he had nothing, Thomas Green. And he never forgot the girl who smiled at him in silence, Emily. He returned often, not as a beggar boy, but as the heir of a billion-dollar empire. Guards and jets surrounded him, but in Thomas's farmhouse he ate simply, laughed freely, and lived humbly. One evening, standing beneath the stars, Michael confessed to Emily, "All this time, I never noticed how much you meant to me. I thought only of my mother, but you were there too, faithful, kind, patient. Emily's cheeks flushed. I was afraid you would never see me. I see you now, he whispered. When Thomas heard, he smiled sadly but nodded. Love comes where it is meant to. If your heart is true, then you have my blessing. And so, Michael, once a street beggar, and now the heir of America's greatest eatery empire, took Emily's hand. The two of them boarded his father's private jet together, the lights of the farm twinkling below. From loss and hardship, a union was born not of wealth, but of sincerity, faith, and love. And love led them forward. The night sky over Seoul shimmered with city lights as Chairman Kang waited anxiously for his only son. Kang Ji-hoon had returned from the United States after many years of study. The father embraced him with pride, yet with a heavy heart. He said softly, "My son, before you inherit this empire, you must learn what it means to work at the bottom. Only then will you know who is loyal and who is false." Ji-hoon nodded, understanding. From that day, he began his disguise as a humble gateman of the company his father built. Every morning, his father would drop him near the gates, and Ji-hoon would walk in wearing an old, faded uniform. No one knew his true identity. To them, he was nothing more than the new gatekeeper, silent and unimportant. Among the many workers, there was one who caught his attention, Yoon Da-eun, a young cleaner with gentle eyes and a soft smile. She arrived early every day, never late, never complaining. While others ignored her, Ji-hoon saw her sincerity. She cleaned with care, worked with dignity, and carried herself with quiet strength. Ji-hoon began to admire her from afar. He noticed how she bowed politely to him, the lowly gateman, when others walked past without a glance. One rainy evening, he saw her struggling with a broken umbrella. Without hesitation, he shared his own, walking her home under the cold drizzle. That night, something stirred within him. But inside the company, darkness lingered. Manager Park, the man who controlled the offices, was corrupt and cruel. He embezzled funds, sold company oil in secret, and silenced anyone who dared to question him. Worst of all, he preyed on cleaners, chasing them away one by one. When he set his eyes on Da-eun, Ji-hoon's blood boiled. Each time Manager Park tried to corner her, Ji-hoon stepped in, protecting her with quiet defiance. The manager began to hate this strange gateman, who was not afraid of him. At night, Ji-hoon returned home and reported everything to his father. "Some men are honest, father, but many are thieves in the shadows." The chairman listened carefully, knowing his son was gathering truth with his own eyes. Days turned into weeks. Ji-hoon and Da-eun grew closer. They shared quiet talks by the company garden. He carried her heavy supplies. She told him her dreams. One evening she said, "Even if no one noticed me, I will still work with sincerity. It is who I am." Ji-hoon's heart trembled. For the first time, he longed not only to protect her, but to love her. Yet the storms grew heavier. Manager Park plotted to destroy them both. He framed Da-eun for theft, planting false evidence against her. Whispers spread through the office, and she was nearly fired. But the old gate master, Mr. Choi, stood tall. With a firm voice, he declared, "If this company had more workers like her, it would shine brighter than gold." His words saved her, but the battle was far from over. One evening, as Ji-hoon walked Da-eun home, she looked at him with tears in her eyes. "Why do you fight for me when you are only a gatekeeper?" she asked. Ji-hoon swallowed his secret. He could not yet tell her who he was. But in that moment, she whispered, "Even if you have nothing, I feel something in my heart when I am with you." Their hands touched, and the quiet spark of love ignited. The day of truth finally arrived. The chairman called for a grand meeting. "My son returns from America today," he announced. "From tomorrow, he will take over this company." The managers and workers gathered with excitement. Manager Park smirked, dreaming of new opportunities to manipulate the young heir. Then the doors opened. Ji-hoon walked in, still wearing the uniform of a gateman. Laughter erupted. "Chairman," Manager Park scoffed. "Is this a joke? Your son's not here. This is just a gatekeeper." But the chairman smiled. "This," he said, "is my son, Kang Ji-hoon." The hall fell silent. Ji-hoon stood tall, removing his cap, revealing the sharp gaze of a leader. His voice echoed through the room. "For months, I have stood among you. I have seen who is loyal, and I have seen who is corrupt. Manager Park, you and your allies have stolen, lied, and betrayed this company." Gasps filled the air as Ji-hoon laid down the evidence he had gathered. Security entered. Manager Park and his accomplices were dragged away, shouting in vain. Justice had come at last. Ji-hoon turned to Mr. Choi, the old gate master. With gratitude in his eyes, he said, "You have been my teacher in silence. From today, you are my right hand." The hall applauded. But there was one more step. Ji-hoon searched the crowd until his eyes found Da-eun. She stood frozen, tears streaming down her cheeks. Slowly, he walked to her. Taking her trembling hands, he said, "You loved me when I was nothing. Now I wish to love you as everything. Da-eun, will you marry me?" Her sob turned into a smile, and she nodded. The workers cheered, the chairman clapped proudly, and for the first time, Ji-hoon felt the weight of love and responsibility in his heart. The story closed with their wedding, simple yet beautiful. Ji-hoon and Da-eun walked through the company gates hand in hand, no longer gateman and cleaner, but husband and wife, CEO and his queen. Behind them, the world whispered of betrayal, loyalty, and redemption. But ahead, they walked together into a future built not on wealth, but on love. And so, behind the gates where he once stood forgotten, Kang Ji-hoon found not just his destiny, but his heart. Thanks for watching till the end. Subscribe for more Aka Movies Korean romantic love stories. Goodbye. My name is Yun Tae-yuan, and this is a story of how I found love. Not in the way most people dream of, not with flowers, chance meetings, or stolen glances, but through a screen, in the quiet hours of the night. She was just a stranger at first, a young woman who worked endlessly, cleaning offices where no one even remembered her name. Yet every night, she would type to me. She would tell me about her day, about the things that broke her, the little moments that made her laugh, and without knowing it, she began to heal me. What she didn't know was that I couldn't walk. Years ago, a car accident had taken that away from me. I was left in this chair, watching the world move on without me. People I trusted left. The woman I thought would stand by me forever walked away. And in that silence, I built walls around my heart. But then came her. Every night, her words reached me like light through cracks in a locked door. She made me laugh again. She made me forget that I was broken. To her, I wasn't a man in a wheelchair. I wasn't a failure or a burden.
Hi, Hee-jin.
I was just me.
I hope your day was as
And for the
beautiful
first
as
time
you
in
are.
years, I felt alive. She doesn't know who I
Hi,
really am.
Hee-jin.
The heir to a fortune. The man who once stood tall but now hides behind lies and silence. She doesn't know any of that. But
He understands
she listens. She cares. And maybe, just maybe, that's enough. If only she knew how much she already means to me.
Previously on Love Beyond the Wheelchair, Episode 1.
Years ago, a car accident had taken that away from me. I was left in this chair, watching the world move on without me. People I trusted left. The woman I thought would stand by me forever walked away. And in that silence, I built walls around my heart. But then came her. Every night, her words reached me like light through cracks in a locked door. She made me laugh again. She made me forget that I was broken. To her, I wasn't a man in a wheelchair. I wasn't a failure or a burden.
Hi, Hee-jin.
I was just me.
I hope your day was as
And for the
beautiful
first
as
time
you
in
are.
years, I felt alive. The night that changed everything is a memory I can never escape. One moment, I was behind the wheel, the city lights stretching endlessly before me. The next, all I saw was broken glass, twisted metal, and the sound of my own heart pounding against the silence. When I opened my eyes again, I was no longer the man I used to be. The doctors tried, God knows they tried, surgery after surgery, endless tests, endless hope. But in the end, their words cut deeper than any wound. You may never walk again. I remember staring at the ceiling that night, realizing that the life I knew had ended on that road. She was there with me at first, my fiancée, the woman I thought I would spend forever with. She held my hand, she whispered promises, but I could see it in her eyes, the fear, the disappointment. And the day she walked away from me, heels clicking against the hospital floor, it felt like the last part of my soul broke. She didn't even look back. And then, as if fate wanted to remind me of everything I had lost, my sister stepped into the world I once belonged to. The company my father built my inheritance, my duties slipped quietly into her hands while I sat there in a chair that had become my prison. Ji-won was strong, capable, and the world applauded her. And me, I was just forgotten. Every night, I told myself I didn't need anyone. That love was just a word people use to make loneliness hurt less. Sitting there in the dark, I whispered to myself, love doesn't exist, not for me. And I believed it.
She left me.
Previously on Love Beyond the Wheelchair, Episode 2. Was there with me at first, my fiancée, the woman I thought I would spend forever with. She held my hand, she whispered promises, but I could see it in her eyes, the fear, the disappointment. And the day she walked away from me, heels clicking against the hospital floor, it felt like the last part of my soul broke. She didn't even look back. And then, as if fate wanted to remind me of everything I had lost, my sister stepped into the world I once belonged to. The company my father built my inheritance, my duties slipped quietly into her hands while I sat there in a chair that had become my prison. Ji-won was strong, capable, and the world applauded her. And me, I was just forgotten. Every night, I told myself I didn't need anyone. That love was just a word people use to make loneliness hurt less. Sitting there in the dark, I whispered to myself, love doesn't exist, not for me. And I believed it. For weeks, we had only been words on the screen, laughter typed into late-night messages, comfort sent through glowing text. But I wanted more. I wanted to see her, to know if the warmth I felt was real. So, with a nervous heart, I asked So Hye-jin if we could meet for the very first time. She agreed. The place was Seoul Forest, at a small cafe tucked away near the quiet trees. The night before, I couldn't sleep. I wondered, what if she turns away when she sees the wheelchair? What if she sees only what I've lost? That morning, I arrived early, sitting quietly in my chair by the cafe window. I watched the world move freely around me, people walking without thought, and I braced myself for disappointment. Then she came, So Hye-jin with her soft, wavy, brown hair gently brushing against her shoulders, her warm, fair skin glowing in the afternoon light, her almond-shaped eyes searching the crowd nervously. She looked beautiful and fragile, as if the world had already asked too much from her. And then, her eyes found me. For a heartbeat, the world fell silent. She froze, staring at the man in the wheelchair, the man who had been nothing but words on her phone. I saw the shock in her face, and in that instant, I wondered if my story would break once again.
Don't turn away.
Would she walk away, or would she stay? Aka Movies present Love Under the Apron, Episode 4, The Test of Truth. Please subscribe, like, share, and comment for more Korean love story. The morning light spilled into the restaurant kitchen, but tension lingered in the air. Soo-jin, the beautiful young Korean woman with porcelain skin, long silky black hair tied neatly, and expressive brown eyes, stood quietly by the sink, her hands trembling as she washed the vegetables. She could still feel the weight of the secret she was carrying, the stolen recipe that wasn't hers. Across the counter, Ji Hong, the hard-working young Korean chef with tousled black hair, warm but guarded eyes, and his white apron stained from endless work, watched her in silence. He had noticed the unease in her eyes for days now, but today he couldn't look away. Soo-jin, he finally said,
Soo-jin?
his voice deep
What are you hiding
but
from
soft.
me?
What are you hiding from me? Her hands froze in the water. The clattering of dishes echoed louder than her heartbeat. Sue, Jin's porcelain face flushed with guilt, her lips trembling, yet no words came out. Just then, the door creaked open. Mrs. Park Sumi, the stern middle-aged Korean woman with sharp eyes and neatly tied bun, her floral blouse tucked firmly into her apron, stepped inside. She scanned the two of them, suspicion lingering in her gaze. Silence filled the kitchen, heavy and suffocating. Later that night, as the restaurant quieted down, Ji-hoon found Soo-jin sitting alone at the corner table, her long black hair falling loosely around her pale shoulders, her expressive eyes brimming with tears. He walked closer, pulling out the chair beside her. "Tell me the truth, Soo-jin," he whispered. "I can take anything, but not your silence." Soo-jin lifted her porcelain face to him, her lips trembling as she finally confessed. The recipe she had claimed as her own, the one that had brought her close to him, had belonged to someone else. Shame burned in her chest, but she couldn't lie to him anymore. Ji, whose sharp jaw tightened, his warm eyes darkening with hurt. For a moment, silence fell again. But then, he reached for her trembling hands, holding them gently. "You should have told me," he said softly. "But I'd rather lose a recipe than lose you." A single tear slid down Soo-jin's porcelain cheek, and for the first time in days, her lips curved into a fragile smile. But outside the kitchen door, Mrs. Park Sumi's sharp eyes lingered in the shadows, her expression unreadable. Because sometimes, truth was only the beginning of a bigger storm.
My name is Ji Yun.
As long as I'm
I was only 6 years old when my life was destroyed.
Don't worry,
My mother,
As long
my
as I'm
gentle,
here, nothing will
loving
hurt
mother, was taken from me first, shot by a masked man who worked for someone she trusted at her company.
Forgive me.
She was trying to reveal the truth to my father,
Tonight, it
a
ends.
soldier,
No, please, my
but they silenced her forever. I remember the night my father told me she was gone. His eyes were heavy.
Don't leave me too, Daddy.
His arms held me
Mommy's
close,
gone, June.
but his duty always kept him away.
Protect you.
Don't leave me too,
I was
Daddy.
lonely, but he
Mommy's
was all
gone,
I
June.
had.
But I'm here.
One day, while he was finally home on leave,
Daddy, you can't catch
we were
me.
together, laughing,
Faster, Gio,
eating,
faster!
just
I
father
wish you could stay
and
like
daughter.
this forever.
But then, the door burst open. A man in a black mask entered. His gun was cold, his aim steady, and in 1 second, my father fell to the floor. Blood everywhere. I screamed, shaking his body, begging him to wake up. The masked assassin looked at me, and for a moment, he pulled off his mask. That face I will never forget. That day, my heart turned to fire. That day, vengeance was born inside me. I grew up with one purpose:
This uniform is not just my
to
duty.
avenge my parents.
It's my promise.
At 20, I joined the army. I trained hard,
How long can I hide this?
fought harder. But in all my years of service, I never found the man who murdered
How long can I
my
hide
father.
this?
Still, his face haunted me every night.
How long can
Until
I hide
one
this?
day, fate spoke. I overheard a soldier making a call, whispering warnings to militants. I followed the sound, hid in the shadows, and pressed record. His words were betrayal, words that sold out our army for blood money. When I listened back, my heart stopped. His voice, it was him, the man who killed my father.
Move the others now. They know where you are.
That night, I broke into his apartment, my gun in my hand, my rage in my heart. When he saw me, I saw fear in his eyes. I pressed my barrel to his forehead, the same way he killed my father. He confessed everything, every dirty secret. He said it was the chief of staff who ordered the hit because my father refused to join their corrupt mission. I had my recorder on and a hidden camera. Finally, I had proof, but they discovered me. The chief of staff marked me for death. Soldiers who once called me sister hunted me down like an animal. They spread lies, accused me of being with militants. My face was on wanted posters. I had no choice but to fight back. Every ambush, every bullet, every soldier they sent, I survived. I killed only to stay alive and to keep my mission burning. One night, I stood in the chief of staff's office. I gun inches from his head. Justice was finally in my hands, but soldiers stormed in before I could pull the trigger. I was arrested, thrown into a military court, branded as a traitor. They were ready to end me, but then I played the disc. The truth exploded in that courtroom. Their corruption, their betrayal, their bloodied secrets. The chief of staff was stripped of his rank, dragged out, and executed by the very system he corrupted. I walked out of that prison cell free, but not whole. I avenged my father, I avenged my mother, but vengeance leaves scars. I am Ji Yun, the daughter of a soldier and a woman who dared to tell the truth. My family's blood will never be forgotten, and neither will my fight. This is my story. My name is Ji Yun.
As long as I'm
I was only 6 years old when my life was destroyed.
Don't worry,
My mother, my gentle, loving mother, was taken from me first, shot by masked men who worked for someone she trusted at her company.
Forgive me.
She was trying to reveal the truth to my father, a soldier, but they silenced her forever. I remember the night my father told me she was gone. His eyes were heavy.
Don't leave me too, Daddy.
His arms held me
Mommy's
close,
gone, June.
but his duty always kept him away.
I will protect you.
Don't leave me too,
I was
Daddy.
lonely, but he
Mommy's
was all
gone,
I
June.
had.
But I'm here.
One day, while he was finally home on leave,
Daddy, you can't catch
we were
me.
together, laughing,
Faster, Gio,
eating,
faster!
just
I
father
wish you could stay
and
like
daughter.
this forever.
But then, the door burst open. A man in a black mask entered. His gun was cold, his aim steady, and in 1 second, my father fell to the floor. Blood everywhere. I screamed, shaking his body, begging him to wake up. The masked assassin looked at me, and for a moment, he pulled off his mask. That face I will never forget. That day, my heart turned to fire. That day, vengeance was born inside me. I grew up with one purpose:
This uniform is not just my
to
duty.
avenge my parents.
It's my promise.
At 20, I joined the army. I trained hard.
How long can I hide this?
Fought harder. But in all my years of service, I never found the man who murdered.
How long can I hide this?
Still, his face haunted me every night.
How long can
Until
I hide
one
this?
day, fate spoke. I overheard a soldier making a call, whispering
Move the others now,
warnings
they
to
know where you are.
militants. I followed the sound, hid in the shadows, and
Move
pressed
the others now, they know
record.
where you are.
His words were betrayal, words that sold out our army for blood money. When I listened back,
Move the others
my
now, they know
heart
where you are.
stopped. His voice, it was him, the man who killed my father.
Move the others now, they know where you are.
Aka Movies present Love Under the Apron, Episode 4, The Test of Truth. Please subscribe, like, share, and comment for more Korean love story. The morning light spilled into the restaurant kitchen, but tension lingered in the air. Soo-jin, the beautiful young Korean woman with porcelain skin, long silky black hair tied neatly, and expressive brown eyes, stood quietly by the sink, her hands trembling as she washed the vegetables. She could still feel the weight of the secret she was carrying, the stolen recipe that wasn't hers. Across the counter, Ji-hong, the hard-working young Korean chef with tousled black hair, warm but guarded eyes, and his white apron stained from endless work, watched her in silence. He had noticed the unease in her eyes for days now, but today, he couldn't look away. Soo-jin, he finally said,
Soo-jin?
his voice deep
What are you hiding
but
from
soft.
me?
What are you hiding from me? Her hands froze in the water. The clattering of dishes echoed louder than her heartbeat. Sue, Jin's porcelain face flushed with guilt, her lips trembling, yet no words came out. Just then, the door creaked open. Mrs. Park Sumi, the stern middle-aged Korean woman with sharp eyes and neatly tied bun, her floral blouse tucked firmly into her apron, stepped inside. She scanned the two of them, suspicion lingering in her gaze. Silence filled the kitchen, heavy and suffocating. Later that night, as the restaurant quieted down, Ji-hong found Soo-jin sitting alone at the corner table, her long black hair falling loosely around her pale shoulders, her expressive eyes brimming with tears. He walked closer, pulling out the chair beside her. "Tell me the truth, Soo-jin," he whispered. "I can take anything, but not your silence." Soo-jin lifted her porcelain face to him, her lips trembling as she finally confessed. The recipe she had claimed as her own, the one that had brought her close to him, had belonged to someone else. Shame burned in her chest, but she couldn't lie to him anymore. Ji, whose sharp jaw tightened, his warm eyes darkening with hurt. For a moment, silence fell again, but then he reached for her trembling hands, holding them gently. "You should have told me," he said softly. "But I'd rather lose a recipe than lose you." A single tear slid down Soo-jin's porcelain cheek, and for the first time in days, her lips curved into a fragile smile. But outside the kitchen door, Mrs. Park Sumi's sharp eyes lingered in the shadows, her expression unreadable. Because sometimes, truth was only the beginning of a bigger storm.